Okay, I just want to talk about. Okay, this video is about going down memory lane. I want to talk about a few of my school traumas that really stayed with me. You see, I'm gonna have to put this disclaimer. When I was a kid, I was a really late bloomer. I was naive as fuck, and because of my upbringing, of course. So the first trauma that I remember this shit vividly. I was definitely in the first grade, and you know, I had to go to the bathroom, unfortunately. And I told the teacher. She said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I went to the boys' bathroom, and there was no toilet paper. I was a first grader. I was naive as fuck. I believed everything my parents told me. Blah blah blah. So I go to the teacher, and I tell her, I gotta go number two. There's no toilet paper. And I remember this shit. I remember her expression. I remember the vibe. She just looked at me with, I don't know, disgust, repulsion, I don't know, indifference. She said, "Well, you should have brought your own toilet paper." And she was telling this to a little boy, a first grader, right? I mean, with this, this nauseated, sickened indifference. You should have brought your own toilet paper. And I'm like, bro, isn't this a school? Like, what the fuck? Like, nobody told me this. Like, what? Right? And this really shocked me as a little kid because I thought, wait a minute, a teacher, I was told a teacher, an adult that was responsible for us, the students, the kids, should care, should be, I don't know, interested, should try to help you. What the fuck? What the fuck, bro? Right? I mean, it just really ingrained in my mind the disgusted indifference that this woman was capable of. You should have brought your own toilet paper. I was like, what the fuck, bro? If I met her today, bro, I would slap her silly. I would slap her silly. You know why? Because obviously she had kids of her own, right? And I hope her kids had the same treatment that she gave me. Okay, this is a side note, and then we'll move on. Bro, I don't know what's going on in the school system, at least in my country. I don't know about your country. Tell me in the comment sections. But in my country, it doesn't matter if it's a primary school, a fucking uh, a fucking high school. Doesn't matter what kind of school it is, bro. The boys' bathroom is like, bro, it's worse than a fucking bathroom in a third world country. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Somebody explain this to me. Of course, the girls' bathroom, however, it is, I mean, it's like a palace. It's like the Palace of Versailles. I mean, fucking, it's spotless, right? I mean, I remember in my old school, in my primary school, I mean, bro, I mean the stalls, the individual stalls, the doors had absolutely no handles, no knobs. They were just fucking holes where the knobs should be. The doors never closed. The toilets had no seats. They didn't flush. Of course, there was no toilet paper. There were shit stains everywhere. Everything smelled of piss. There was piss everywhere. Everything was fucking wet everywhere on the floor. It smelled like fucking piss and shit everywhere. Like all the mirrors were cracked and filthy. Like all of the faucets were rusty. You couldn't even turn the water on. I mean, everything was dirty, filthy, dusty. I mean, bro, even in the worst prison, I imagine that they have better toilets. Like you can't make this shit up. I was so traumatized by this yet again that I swear to God, I never went to the bathroom from the first grade until I finished high school, unless I had to pee, and even if only when this was an emergency. That's how traumatized I was. This was just like, what the fuck, right? And now, These motherfuckers have the audacity to talk about hygiene, how important it is because of the fucking virus. They have the balls, right? I mean, the bathrooms were pigsties of the lowest caliber imaginable. Like even pigs could not live there. Even the pigs would die because of the exposure to the fucking bacteria. There were feces on the floor, smeared everywhere. They never cleaned the bathroom. Why is this dichotomy between the girls' bathroom and the boys' bathroom? What is this discrimination? What is this psychological operational about? Is it trying to ingrain in males that they're fucking shit? What's going on here? That they're not worth anything? What's going on here? It definitely traumatized me, and the people in charge should be held accountable. Moving on. Another trauma, and this one is not that vivid. It just happened. Listen, I don't remember. I don't remember the context. I don't remember how it started. I don't remember how it ended. This is the only thing that I remember. One day, I don't know if it was the first grade or the second grade. We were tykes. We were little kids. But I remember one of my classmates, a little dude. I don't know. He was sitting in his bench, the first bench to the wall next to the door. And I don't know what happened. I remember that this dude, I don't know, I think he shat himself. I think he shat himself and he just sat in his bench after he shat himself. And what I remember is that a few classmates went there and they looked in the bench where you could put your fucking books or whatever. And I remember that, I don't know, there were newspapers or papers or something. I mean, they were covered in shit. That space in the bench was literally nothing but shit. I remember this, bro. I remember this. I don't know. It scarred me for life. I don't know what happened. This is all that I remember. It traumatized me. This kid had shat himself for some reason. For some reason, never told anybody, never told the teachers, and that's what I remember. There was shit everywhere. There was shit everywhere, and that's about it. That's it. That's it for that story. Another one, yet again, I think it was the first or second grade. I don't know what happened. Maybe I was sick and I was gone for a few days. But when I came back one day, we had to take dictation, which means the teacher said a sentence, Mary went to school, she bought 2 apples, whatever. And then we had to write it in our notebooks, to, test and practice our grammar, our spelling, our cursive writing, whatever. And I was puzzled, confounded, perplexed. I didn't know what was happening. I remember, bro. It was like I had PTSD. I had some Vietnam flashbacks. I just froze in place. I looked around and I saw all the other kids. They were writing in their notebooks, and I just didn't know what to do. Like I really thought in with my little kid brain, I thought, wait, I'm a retard? What's going on here? Right? For some reason, I did not know what to do, even though it was obvious that you just had to write the fucking sentence down. And I don't know, maybe I'm autistic, I don't know. But I was just so upset that everybody else was doing it, and I was just such a fucking, I don't know, dumbass. I was so upset at myself that I just started crying like crazy. I remember this shit. I was crying like crazy. I mean, I remember my classmate. I remember this dude because after a few years, as we got older, I realized that this dude in particular was a fucking dumbass, a real dumbass. Okay, he had learning disabilities. Even this dumbass was writing next to me, and I wasn't, and I was even more upset. So I was crying. Uh, from what I remember, the teacher did not come to me because it was the same bitch that told me to get the fucking toilet paper myself from my home because, of course, that's what you tell a little kid. So she did not come to me immediately, and I remember that another dude, another classmate of mine, he started crying as well because he didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? Right? I don't know. Even to this day, I cannot explain why I was so shocked by dictation. I did not have any awareness of what was going on, and I was not capable of understanding that I had to take my pen and write that shit on the notebook. I don't know. I think I was autistic. I don't fucking know. Right? Um, yeah, yeah. These are some of the traumas that have haunted me for a long time. I mean, this is I think this is the first grade and the second grade, bro. I'm 32 years old now, and I still remember this shit. And I remember when that bitch told me about getting my own toilet paper, I remember that I clenched all day long out of resentment, right? I would not be defeated by this hoe, right? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? I have to make this statement that I've made before. Most teachers do not know how to handle kids, do not know how to talk to kids, do not know how kids operate, do not understand how kids think, right? Most teachers do not know how to talk to kids at their level, etc., etc. And the funny part is that most of them, ironically, have kids of their own. Okay, so not only are they incompetent teachers, but they are certainly incompetent parents as well, right? I mean, now I look at all this stupid shit, and it's just the funniest thing ever, right? This happened, I think, in the fifth grade or so. We had one dude in our class that was obviously a bully. And I would also say that he was obviously, I mean, he had problems up here. I mean, of all the fucking uh, dipshits I have encountered in school, I mean, this guy was obviously, he had problems up here. He had problems, right? I think he was the type that just loved, I don't know, torturing insects or whatever. He had that vibe about him, right? So, this was the fifth grade. So puberty obviously was in motion. And I don't know, the boys and the girls were playing some sort of chase game. And you see, our school was old, right? Our school was old, so uh, we had old equipment, right? Uh, so this guy goes to one girl and he grabs her by the ankles and just yanks her, right? Just yanks her out of nowhere. So she drops backwards and smacks her head against, like, I don't know, the heater or whatever. Right? The back of her head against the heater, and guess what? She cracks her fucking skull open and she starts bleeding profusely. Profusely. Right? And of course, this girl immediately looks and she sees blood and she starts crying like crazy. Uh, a teacher comes along, and guess what? I don't know what happened because back in the day there were no cell phones. There were no cell phones, and somehow somebody called this girl's daddy. So, in like maybe at most 10 minutes, this girl's this girl with the cracked skull, her daddy shows up. And this dude was about to kill this fucking crazy kid, that had problems up here, that pulled her legs, right? So the daddy shows up and he's about to kill this little kid. And the teacher tries his best, like, yo, bro, chill out. I mean, this guy had fucking, I don't know, Heisenberg energy. This guy was dead ass ready to kill a little kid for what he did to his daughter. Okay? Um, so yeah, this was yet another thing that really stuck with me over the years. Another one, and this will be a short one. I don't know. We were playing in fucking class, and I remember this one girl. She threw like a little Coca-Cola bottle, the plastic ones. She threw at a dude, and he was hit in the temple by you know, by the cap. And because he was hit by the cap, his fucking temple fucking exploded, right? And there was blood everywhere, right? I don't know what the fuck happened, but he was hit by the plastic bottle, and his fucking temple exploded. There was blood everywhere. I remember this shit. Right? Because it was so odd, so bizarre, you know? You never think that a plastic bottle this size can hurt somebody, but it did. That day it did. This isn't really a trauma, more of a story, a sad story, how uh, the school system fails us. I think we were in the 5th grade, and listen, this school, with the horrible toilets, the faculty was just so shit, so incompetent, so unconscious. Every school has its list of suspects who are, let's call them bad kids. Bad kids with bad attitudes, with a bad background. Kids who repeat the year again and again. Kids who have, maybe a hostile family environment. You know, those kind of kids. And the faculty, how in their brilliance, in the 5th grade, they assigned one of these bad kids to our class. And this guy, from what I remember, this guy had repeated, I don't know how many times. They didn't expel him for some reason. This dude, listen, we were the 5th graders. We were yay big. This dude was like to the ceiling. This dude looked like a grown ass man. Okay, I'm telling you. So how to compare the size? We were like 1st graders to him, and he was like a fucking high school juggernaut. That's how that was the discrepancy of the size of the height. So that's what happened. They assigned this fucking criminal to our class, and it was horrible because guess what? Who would be his benchmate? Guess what? I was supposed to be his benchmate, and let me tell you, it was not a fun time, right? I mean, this dude was obviously shady. This dude had violent tendencies. This dude obviously had a few screws loose up here. He enjoyed violence. He enjoyed bullying. He enjoyed causing suffering to others because he knew that the school faculty would do nothing to him. Listen, he had a gang. They smoked. They drank. They harassed people. Right? The teachers didn't do shit to him. And let me tell you, whatever shady shit he did at school, let me tell you, he did worse outside of school. Right? And this shows just how incompetent the school faculty really is. Right? They are responsible for a generations of kids that should turn out to be educated, decent adults, some of them which might, become the next politician, the next business person, the next inventor, right? And the best idea that they came up with was to assign this fucking lunatic in the class of fifth graders. I mean, we were babies compared to this dude, bro. This dude was fucking a man. He was a man, dead ass. And he had problems in the dome, right? I mean, right? It shows how incompetent they are because they do not consider. I mean, we were naive, impressionable, gullible kids, right? And they assigned this fucking hoodlum, right? This, I mean, there's no other word. This guy was a hoodlum, right? And they assigned him to us because I don't know. I guess they didn't have any other solutions, right? First of all, these certain types of kids that repeat the year, that fail constantly, if you have to keep them for whatever reason, to impress the school board or whatever, this is advice to the faculty. If you have to keep these fucking hoodlums who do not strive for their education, if you have to keep them, please, for the love of God, do not assign them to classes where normal kids are. Because it will ruin them. It will traumatize them. It will influence them badly, negatively. And I do remember that a few of my friends that were classmates were influenced by this guy. And when we finished first grade and had our party, these dudes were caught with liquor and they had a bad time because they were influenced by this dipshit. So if you have bad kids, bad apples, who are a bad influence, who repeat the year over and over, at least form a class only of these types of students. Do not mix them with the regular kids, students who mind their own business. It will spell disaster, you morons. Okay? If you put a bad apple with the rest, all of them will rot and decay. I mean, this is simple logic, right? But they're so indifferent, so negligent, so apathetic that they do not care that they ruin uh, a generation of kids, smart kids, good kids, that could turn out to be hoodlums as well. And people wonder today, both parents and teachers, why a lot of their kids and students, uh, you know, don't turn out as expected. I wonder why, right? Oh, listen. This is the best one. This is the best trauma. In the third grade, me and a few classmates were chasing each other on the hallways, and I remember this vividly. And remember uh, that fat kid that wasn't smart at all. That same fat kid, as I was chasing a colleague, a classmate, this dude tripped me. He tripped me, and I was running at full speed in the third grade. So this fucking fat fuck, he tripped me. I fell on fucking concrete, and I fucking landed on my fucking elbow, on my left elbow. And of course, I broke my left arm. Even to this day, my left arm uh, isn't the same as my right. There's a difference. It's less strong, obviously. And I remember this. This is a true trauma. When I landed, I remember the crack was like a fucking grenade, bro. I remember it echoed through the hallways. No cap. I mean, everybody there just froze in place. So I broke my arm. I was, of course, dying, crying because of the pain. A few of my classmates brought me back in class, put me in the bench, and we waited for the teacher. We waited for the teacher. When she came, remember, this is the same bitch that told me to get my own toilet paper in the first grade. Now, listen, this shows what a monster she was. So I was weeping, crying, snot and tears on my face, holding my arm like this. And my classmates told her, told her, I fell, I broke my arm. And she said, well, it can't be that serious. And while she said it, she just grabbed me. She just grabbed my fucking broken arm and she said, it can't be this serious. And I fucking screamed. And she was like, oh, I guess it's serious. Oh, you think? You think, bitch? So, listen, this is how shitty this school was. I lived close to my school. But this fucking bitch made no arrangements to call my parents, to have somebody send me home, to have some sort of supervisor. This bitch just sent me home on my own with my broken arm, bitch. I was in 3rd grade, dog. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now that I think of it, this bitch was a true psycho. She had to be a true psycho. Okay, so they had to put a cast on me. When I came back, listen, when I came back the first day with my cast, this bitch had the audacity to tell the kid that tripped me, you see what you did? You see how bad it was? It really is broken. And I was just looking at this bitch. I was just shaking my head. Do you not remember how you treated me? Right? First of all, she did not believe that I had broken my arm. She fucking yanked it, even though it was broken, and then she sent me home on my fucking own. A little kid with a broken arm. And yes, I live close to the school. Even now, it's right here. It's like 50 meters, no cap. And she sent me home by myself, weeping. A little boy with an arm like this. And let me tell you, when we finished 3rd grade, we had our party, right? And our parents came, of course. And I was with my dad, and he told me, that fat fuck who tripped you and broke your arm. I was like, yeah. Did he? Do his parents know? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, go ask him. And I went to him, the fat fuck who tripped me, and I asked him, do your parents know what you did to me? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I told my dad, and my dad went to his parents, and he told them, well, your kid, he tripped my kid, and that's how he broke his arm, and they didn't know shit. Nobody told him. Listen, how incompetent the faculty and the fucking teacher was. They did not tell this fat fuck's parents that he tripped and broke my arm. His parents did not know. They were not informed. They did not receive the memo. Bruv. God, this school, man. This school is just, wow. This school belongs to the streets. It's right here, like 50 meters from my fucking apartment building. That's about it. If you want to support your boy, I got a few books on Amazon. The link will be down below. Thanks for watching. See ya.